Congratulations, we did it! We covered the entire reading section. Now we need to wrap it up and you're ready to go, at least with the reading section. You're ready to do it, okay? So let's repeat what we learned, what you should know, what you should remember, and what you should do to succeed on the reading section. So, first of all, read only the important sentences. This was the first thing that we talked about. You should always pay attention to the most important sentences. You should read them, but you should not read the entire text. You just need to read the thesis statement and the topic sentences, and also the last sentence of the passage if you want to. And then these important sentences will have everything you need to know to succeed on answering your questions, right? It will give you an entire map of how your text worked, where to look for the specific information, and will also give you all the answers that you will need to answer the summary questions. So this is a very good technique that will help you succeed on the reading section. Read only the important sentences and then move on to the questions, okay? The next one, pay attention to tricky answer choices. We also talked about it. We have some tricky answer choices, like the tricks that the test makers use to confuse you. So one of them is same words, when they take the quote from the text and then they put it the exact same words to the answer choice, and we know that this means that the answer choice is wrong. The other one is strict words or eliminating words. So these are such words as always, only, and never. When we see these words in an answer choice, it means that the answer choice is wrong. We don't pick it, okay? So same words and strict words are the two tricks that we avoid in the answer choices. Okay. Look for paraphrases in the answer choices. So this is the same as same words. So if we are trying to find the right answer, we should always look for paraphrases. We should look for the answer choice which took some information from the text and changed it, paraphrased it, use the synonyms to describe that information. So we always look for paraphrases in the answer choices. Paraphrases are usually the right answer choice, okay? The next one, remember the thesis and topic sentences from the text when doing summary questions. So when we're dealing with the summary questions and we need to pick 3 sentences that support the thesis statement, we always should remember the topic sentences and the thesis statement. So if we remember the thesis statement and topic sentences, it will help us answer the summary questions. Look for the obvious but not stated information when answering inferences questions. So inferences are that kind of information that is not stated exactly, but it is obvious. So it's very easy for us to make that kind of conclusion. So you always look for conclusions. You don't look for the information that you already read in the text. You're trying to make the conclusions in order to answer the inference question. Okay? Next one. Look for hints in the context when answering word questions. You remember the word type of question? We started with it. It was our first type of question. And we need to always look at the context when we're trying to answer the word questions. So it's never about the definition of the word. It's always about the context. And there are hints in the context that help you understand what is this word. So you should repeat all these hints. We discussed them all. And then try to find them when you're doing word questions. Pay attention to transitions when doing place a sentence question. So the sentences in the paragraph are always very well connected. So there are transitions that connect them together. And you can see that at some point there's going to be a break. And then it's a perfect place for the sentence that you have to place it, and it becomes even more logical. How to do it? You always have to pay attention to the transitions. Transitions, all those words that we'll learn, they help you to understand where do you place the sentence. So pay attention to the transitions and it will help you to answer the place a sentence question. Okay, so now let's talk about some other advice that will help you to succeed on the reading section. Let's cover it as well. First of all, read the questions carefully. Sometimes a lot of mistakes happen because the person just didn't read the question, and it's so annoying. Like, students hate it. Every time we check these questions with my students, they're like, oh man, I thought so. Oh, I didn't read this. So always read the question very carefully. Sometimes there's a word not or the word except, and it means that you need to look for the information that didn't happen, right? So sometimes people just forget about it and just don't notice these words. Or sometimes the question is asking you for a specific detail, and it's very important to pay attention to what it is asking you for, because it's very easy to pick something which doesn't even answer the question, and the test makers want you to do that mistake. So you need to read the questions very carefully before you answer them. All right? Next, Try to answer all the questions. All the information that you need to answer the questions is right in the text. So if you keep looking for it, you're gonna find it. So try to answer every question, even if it seems hard. Go ahead, try to find that information and go and answer. You know the tricks, you know how to paraphrase, you learned it, you did a lot of exercises, it's gonna be there. So always answer all the questions, and even if you're not sure, at least guess something. If you're not sure, try to eliminate some of the answer choices. Maybe there's a trick in one of them, right? Maybe it's an eliminating word, so you can just easily cross out some of them. And then try to make an educated guess, and then it will help you to improve your score. So never skip questions before you move on to the next passage or to the next section. Always answer all the questions. Choose any random answer if you want to skip a question, and then put a note for yourself to come back. This is important because sometimes time is your enemy, and so you do a lot of questions, you go next and next and next and next, and then you understand that you don't have time to come back and answer the question that you had troubles with, that you skipped. So if you want to skip a question, always choose a random answer and go ahead, go next. And then if at some point you don't have time to come back, it's just over, you're switched to the next section, then at least you tried. At least there's 25% chance that you guessed it. So always pick any random answer before you skip the question, and then put a note for yourself. I need to go back to question number 4. And then if you have time, you can go back and change your answer, or maybe it's the right answer, so you're just gonna make sure. So go back and answer it later, but always put a random answer before you skip it. Answer all the questions before going to the next text. So sometimes you're just skipping the question and then you go to the next text and you think that, okay, at the end of this section, I'm gonna come back and answer that question from the first passage. This is not gonna work because you're gonna just completely refocus on a new passage. You don't want to focus back on the passage that you wanted to forget. So try to solve all the questions to the specific passage before you go to the next passage, because you want to forget about it, right? You want to do the passage and then solve all the questions and be like, okay, I'm forgetting this passage, I'm focusing entirely on this new passage. So try to answer all the questions before you go to the next passage, because you don't want to lose your focus and you don't want to come back, okay? Practice on time. Time is often an enemy on the TOEFL test, so you want to make friends with your enemy. So always have a timer when you're doing practice tests. It will help you a lot to prepare for the TOEFL better. Get familiar with question types and software. We already discussed how you navigate the software. There's a button next, there's a button back, there's a button review. You can go back to the questions, and also be familiar with the question types. It will help you a lot to understand the differences and the nuances and the techniques that you need to use for every one of them, okay? Make educated guesses. As I said, if you don't know the answer, just try to eliminate some of them. Try to eliminate those which are, of course, wrong. Like, you just can see it. You can definitely say this answer choice is wrong because of the trick, or this answer choice is just absurd. It's not going to be true like 100%. Then, if you're able to eliminate at least some of the answer choices, it will boost your chances to pick up the right one. Even if you're not sure if you're choosing between two, eliminate the other two, or eliminate at least one. It will help you to get a better result. Because if you, for example, don't know the answer to 10 questions, right? 10 questions, you just don't know any answer, you're gonna get just 25% of them right if you just randomly pick anything. But if you're able to eliminate at least one answer choice in each of them, you're gonna get more right answers out of this 10. If you are able to eliminate half of them, you're gonna have the half of them right. So every time you don't know the answer, try to eliminate the answer choices, and it will definitely improve your total score. It's just the statistics, it's how it works. All right, so always try to eliminate the answer choices and make an educated guess. Don't just pick random, eliminate first. Read more, especially scientific text. Everything you read in English language will help you to improve your score. So really, go ahead, read some text outside of the TOEFL. Read, especially if it's a scientific magazine or a scientific article online. It will help you a lot to improve your reading skills. Increase your vocabulary. If you see a word that you don't know in the reading passage while you're practicing, go ahead, go to the dictionary and learn that word. increase your vocabulary because it's gonna help you improve your score a lot. Alright, so these are the tips that will help you to prepare for the reading section, but of course the best preparation is practice. So we included practice reading sections for you. Go ahead, do them, practice your reading, check your answers, and it will help you to improve your reading scores. And thank you so much, we did it. We did the entire reading section. We did 25% of the test. Congratulations. We're moving now to the listening section, but before, don't forget to practice. Thanks for watching.